Okay, so we are on our fourth skill of what's called follow-up and also telling your story, right? Is that what we're on, is the fourth skill, which is follow-up? But that includes telling your story, and I know there's other parts to it, but I want to go back to telling your story because I don't know that we got it completely and totally finished. And so why is it important to be able to tell a good story? What is in the story that's so important that we keep talking about? Get your story down. Anybody, why is that important?
You want to be able to hold their attention and not have them, if you go too long, they're just going to drift off and not.
Totally. What else, Denise?
Our heart. Why we feel and believe in where we're at and what we're doing.
They need to see our heart, and you do that through story. Story actually creates shifts. Telling doesn't necessarily. What else? Anything else? So, Heidi.
They get to hear your experience, which creates possibility for them to think of other people that may have that same experience.
They hear their heart, be able to have their experience. And I love that you took that to the next level, Heidi. It creates possibility for people. When they hear your story, you're creating possibility. Think about that, right? Anything else? Teresa, did you want to say something?
Tell them right now. It creates
vulnerability.
Vulnerability.
Vulnerability with your prospect.
So, yeah, because you're opening up your heart, getting back to what
right.
which creates vulnerability. And just remind us, Teresa, what's your daughter's name if she's going to be part of our Juice Plus family this morning?
She is Zoe.
Zoe, I knew that. You know, my dog's name was Zoe. I should absolutely have a big connection with you. Okay, anybody else? So here's the thing about, we heard heart, create possibility by sharing experience, being vulnerable, which creates, when you're vulnerable, it has somebody else's heart cracked open. And when somebody else's heart is cracked open, it gives them an opportunity to listen more, right? So basically, if you think about it, the more people you want to impact, what happens when you actually do impact people with Juice Plus? Number one, you just transform their life. And number two, your check is going up. So it's twofold. And your check is a direct reflection of the lives that you are impacting. So I know a lot of people have a problem thinking about money in relationship to what we're doing. But I can tell you that when I look at my report at the end of the month and see that our team has gotten over 1,000 customers because Chris and I talked to somebody who talked to somebody who talked to somebody, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Like, I'm feeling good about my team. I'm feeling good about what we've done. So essentially, we are paid storytellers. That's it. We are paid storytellers. That's the important thing to do. So if you want to get paid well and you want to impact a lot of lives, then you need to have a really great story. And a great story doesn't mean that Juice Plus got you out of a wheelchair. That's not necessarily a great story. Your great story is be able to share from your heart, create the possibility for people, be vulnerable, and share the before Juice Plus and the after Juice Plus. So when we talk about sharing your business part of it, there's twofold. It's the before and after, not only with health, but your financial health as well. So your story should be under 2 minutes long. So I want to go over stories again so that we can really get clear about telling our story. And your story is basically the same. It only changes mildly depending on who you're talking to. So for example, if I'm talking to somebody in their 20s, I'm not going to focus a whole lot on retirement. That doesn't make any sense, right? I'm going to focus on what's important to them. So before you tell your story, what would be important for you to find out?
What is their pain?
What would be important? What is their desire? Where are they at? What's their challenge, their pain, what they want? So you
What are their goals?
What their goals are, where they want to get to. So for example, I was joking around with somebody yesterday, and it would be kind of like she's trying to sell a truck. And I said, wouldn't it be silly if I called her up and had a whole long conversation? Oh my God, I found this incredible truck. You have to look at it. She's trying to sell a truck. She doesn't want to buy a truck. But I didn't bother to find out first when I went in to launch my call about, I found this great truck for you. I think you might want one. So it's really important. So what kinds of questions can you ask of somebody, unless you already know them really well, to find out what's going on in their life and how you could be a solutioneer? Somebody this morning said listen ear. It was Patty, I think. I loved it. Anyway, what kinds of questions can you ask before you start telling your story? In short, doesn't have to be a huge conversation.
One thing I love asking people, especially if I'm meeting them in a business kind of setting, is, do you love what you do?
Great.
And most people will say no. So it's a lead in to.
So Kirsten, can we play that game in front of everybody right now? You be the asker and I'm going to be the person that you're talking to.
Sure.
Let's just see where she goes with asking questions. And we're going to do it two ways, one yes and one no. So Kirsten, go for it.
So servers are the best to talk to. So
Okay,
you're
so
going
I'm
to be
a
my
server.
server.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Nikki, I so appreciate your attention to our table. You obviously love people. Do you love this job and love what you do?
So Kirsten, you know, it's funny. I love people and I love interacting, but this is not my life's passion. So, you know, I love being with people and I love the opportunity, but it's not my passion.
I totally hear you. I know you're super busy, but I discovered something. Oh gosh, this is always where
I'm going to stop. Ask me another question, Kirsten. Ask me another question. It's not my life's passion.
If there were another opportunity for you to take that love of people and do something you really loved, would you be open to hearing about it?
Yeah. Now Kristen just from the background said, you know, he should ask, what's your life's passion? But she already kind of named it. I mean, I kind of named it when I said, I love being with people. So you took that point of view, and that's what's interesting about questions. It could have gone either row. I would have said, what's your life's passion? I love what you did. You clearly really love people. Is there someplace else that you could do that? So she asked me that question, and I might say something like, you know, I really do love people, being with people and being in some kind of service, but I really haven't found anything that really grabs me yet.
Yeah, I totally hear you. I got burned out in my professional world, and I actually discovered something recently that just gave me that ability to connect with people and share a passion. I get to work from home, and I just think you might be perfect. And I wonder, I know you're super busy, but would you be open to hearing more?
And that was great. I loved how she related her personal thing. This is what happened to me. This allowed me to work with people. I probably would have asked one more question, and it might have been something like, does good nutrition or health ever get you excited? Do you like knowing more? Just because if she said, absolutely not, I don't want to have anything to do with nutrition, and I'm really not interested in knowing anything more about how to get healthy. I think that would probably stop. So I might have done one more question, but Kirsten, I loved how you brought it back to your personal experience. And I also loved how she kept saying, I know you don't have a lot of time, especially as a server. So then let's say if I said, let's do the same thing again, Kirsten. And you said to me, hey, I noticed that you really blah, 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 you're doing good service. And you say to me, do you love what you do? And she's just asked me that. And I'm going to say, you know what? I really do love this. I probably see myself doing it for a long time. I make pretty good money.
Have you ever thought about a plan B if anything happens?
Okay, what could be, that's a great question. I would definitely go there as an in-between segue question.
Hey, Nikki, I had one real quick question. Back just before when she had said, she said, I think you'd be great at this. And I've heard mixed things back and forth on that. Instead of saying, I think you'd be great at this, going with, I'm not sure if this is right for you or something. I'm just trying to get clarification on that and to be better with it.
Dan, I never say to anybody, you'd be great at this, or you have such good energy, you're going to do well at this, because we don't know how they feel. And I usually say, I'm not sure how this is going to be. But Kirsten is so natural and so loving that it just felt like it rolled off of her tongue and I didn't go there. But typically I don't say that to people. You know, but that's just me, and for other people it might work. So it's
But you guys, I appreciate the feedback, because even for as much as I've honed my story, these kind of interactions with cold prospecting are still really hard for me. So thank you, Dan.
No, Krista, I used to say that all the time. I think every server I would talk to that had great energy, and it never seemed to transpire. When I kind of did the takeaway, I at least got more conversations out of it. Not that it transpired all the time, but I think I got more conversations, or I got at least better answers for myself when they're like, no, I don't think it would be right for me or whatnot. So.
And Dan, I think the reason that I'm not sure about you works better, you don't know her at all. And what goes on in my head for me is I might be thinking, how do you know what I'm going to be good at? You've only talked to me for a minute and a half. That's just me. That might not be for true of other people, but that's my response is, what do you know about me that I'd be good at this? So it's whatever, but let's get back to where we were at, Kirsten. So I say, you know, I love what I do. What could be the next segue question? And if you can't think of it, Kirsten, can you think of a different question, Kirsten?
No, I can't really. I need help.
What is it that you love? Whatever they say, it's about what they said. I really love what I do, and I'll probably do this for a long time. And then you say, well, what is it that you like?
What is it you like about what you do?
Yeah, so one of the things I like is that I work 20 hours a week. I don't have to work a full schedule. I work 20 hours a week, and I make pretty good money. Where might you go?
I somehow into the plan B, because I mean, we know the best servers in the world right now are unemployed. So I could use help with the language about the plan B.
Before you get to that plan B, so there's a couple things. What goes on in my head is somebody says, I've got lots of flexibility. I probably would ask them, depending on the time, do you have any kids? A lot of times when people are servers and they have kids, everything's flexible. They only work, but they never put their kid to bed at night. Those 3 nights that they work, they never see their kids those 3 nights. So they say, yes, I have kids. And then the next thing is, so these are just things I know about servers. I know the life of a server. Yes, they're flexible, but sometimes they interrupt things that are really important. So for example, when Brittany was serving, her best nights were Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so she could never go out. Her Sunday, when she could be with friends, was working, and everybody else, so her Monday was her Sunday. So that was a little bit hard. So then I ask about this, so just thinking, and that's just me, I'm thinking about, so you say to me, do you have any kids? And I say, oh yeah, I have 2 kids.
Do you get all the time that you want with them? And even though I know you love what you do, but do you get all the family time you want?
You know, that is one part of what I don't like. See, you're trying to find out the piece, and you could just say, is there parts of this you don't like? You could just go right there. And say, you know, yeah, there are times where a couple nights a week I don't get to be with my kids because my husband has to put them to bed because I'm working. And sometimes on Sunday, even though it's not all the time, even though my time is flexible, sometimes I have to work on Sundays and my whole family gets to do stuff and I don't get to do it with them.
Yeah, that's got to be really tough. Next question: if there was something that still allowed you to use your passion for people and gave you time flexibility and the ability to work from home, would you be open to looking at it?
Totally.
Wow.
But you see how I'm drawn in. She's gotten me to talk about what isn't working in the job I love. It's easy when they don't like their job. When they do like it, where you want to go is what parts don't you like, and do we have a fit? If she had said me, you know what, my job is so flexible because I've been at this restaurant for so long, they give me anytime I want. So yes, I get to see my kids, I get to have Sundays off, blah, blah, blah. If you still wanted to do a plan B, then you could say, I'm just curious, because I've talked to lots of people that do what you do and love it, but they also have a plan B just for circumstances where maybe something comes up and they can't work for a short period of time, or I don't know, the restaurant makes some shift changes and they don't quite work for you. Have you ever thought about having a plan B that could fill in those moments of time and still offer you everything you just said you loved? Right? And we're recording this, so you can go back and hear verbiage if you need to. So was that helpful, Dan?
Well, I was just going to tap in. It's great when they have kids. Kids are always a sore point in the heart. What if you're talking to a 28-year-old that's has no relationship. They get to go out after they get off work at 2 o'clock in the morning because they don't care. The next day, it doesn't matter. I was thinking, like, acknowledge, hey, man, that's awesome. 20 hours a week. That's absolutely freaking awesome. That's kind of like what I do. And, but I get to pick every single time that I want to do it versus being on somebody's schedule and having to be somewhere.
And Dan, along with that, a great question for that 28-year-old, because that was my daughter. She didn't have kids. She didn't have a relationship. But when her friends were together doing things on Sunday, hanging out, there were certain days that it just didn't work for her because those were the biggest tip days.
Yeah.
$500 on a tip day, but didn't get to see her friends all of the time. And Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, so it depends on the schedule. But here's a great one. So it sounds like you love what you do. Sounds like it's completely flexible. I'm just curious, do you like travel? God, I love to travel. So when you travel, what happens? Well, I save up enough money to travel. Have you ever thought about anything that could pay you while you're traveling?
That's great. I like that a lot.
My mind, I'm sorry, you guys, I've practiced this so much. My mind goes right to what do people want? They want travel, time with friends. Those are in the back of my, what do I love about, if all of you wrote down the 30 reasons that you love your business, or the 30 possible things that you would love from your business if your business were bigger, and you knew those 30, those are the ones that I apply when I'm talking to somebody. I know my list. And on my 30 things, some of those things match what people want. Not all of them, but some of them.
Nikki, I had a thought too that from now on, we are always going to be able to reference back to COVID. I mean, we are going to have a reference point of during the COVID crisis, when all restaurants were shut down, did you have a plan B? Did you have something to fall back on? So I think that's going to be a much easier conversation because it's really real. It's not theoretical anymore.
And here's the point, Kirsten, it's now. So when you're talking to servers now, if ever you've collected a bunch of names from servers, now they're not going to make enough money necessarily tomorrow if they decide to do Juice Plus today, but it's forever. It's moving forward. So building it now, so moving forward, if this is your plan B, because we've experienced something that we've never experienced. None of us know what the next experience is that we don't know.
And Nikki, can I put in something there?
Sure.
Going back to those people that said no to you even a month ago, life is different. It is totally worth revisiting it again.
Yeah, totally.
And I have a comment too. We never know when we're going to need anything. We never know when we're going to need Juice Plus running through our veins like we need it now.
Yeah.
We never know when we're going to need that extra income like we need it now.
Yeah.
So I feel like also adding that like line in there, I never knew I needed this until I needed it. Yeah. Is pretty powerful.
Nobody has any idea what the unexpected is. And even as simple as, I think I've used this story before, we did one of those luncheons, Pat, Carrie, that you and I used to do all the time, the 4 Ds, Empowerment Women Lunches. And we talked about the 4 Ds, which is divorce, debt, death, and disability. And it sounds pretty negative, but you never know what's going to arise. And this one woman that I spoke to when I did that luncheon, she raised her hand and she said, you talk about disability. I'm a massage therapist. I was in an accident, nothing serious, but it complicated some nerve issues, which I'm going to recover from, but I'm not able to do massage work. And thank God I had Juice Plus as my backup. I never expected this. I'm young. I thought I would do massage for a long period of time, and I've not been able to do it for months. And this has been a lifesaver for me. So nobody knows. It doesn't have to be a huge, like this virus. It can be something small as being something debilitating that just keeps you from your work for 3 weeks without a check. I mean, seriously, having a plan B. I sat on a woman on a plane once, and she was high up in some corporate something. And we were talking, she brought it up to me. She said, I said, what do you do? We talked about it. And she goes, but I also have a plan B. And I went, what? No, she didn't say I have a plan B. She said, I'm also looking for a plan B. And I said, what? And she said, well, you know, I don't know what's going to happen in corporate America ever. No one ever knows. And even though I make a 6-figure income, even though I like what I'm doing, and even though my bosses seem to love me, I just don't know. So I would love to have a plan B running behind here to take care of me. Some people think about that like they do insurance. So look at Heidi sneezing into her elbow just in case she inflicts anything on us. Is she the most thoughtful person you have ever met? Yeah, Kate.
So can I ask a question that's like sort of related, but like sort of just unrelated a little bit?
Totally.
At this time, what questions can I ask for people who know that they want the Juice Plus but are scared financially that they can't afford to have the Juice Plus?
Okay. And you've already had the conversation and they say they'd like it and they can't afford it, or they're afraid to pay for it.
Or
right
they're
now.
already on it, and they're seeing incredible benefits, but they lost their job and are cutting things and think, like, what can I ask to help them?
Great. So I have questions in my mind, but I would love to hear from some other people because after a while you may be bored of this voice. In fact, the other second I heard myself screeching. It about made me want to throw up. So just anybody, seriously, I heard my voice.
Being in healthcare, Kate, I immediately think of the healthcare costs if they get sick. And I don't know a conversation around that that's not fear-based, because I don't want to be fear-mongering, but I did hear a statistic that one day in the ICU of a hospital costs $20,000. Excuse me. So that's immediately where my brain goes, but I could use some help on language, communicating that to people.
Great. Denise or Patty?
Yeah, what about just asking them, like, I can very much understand, you know, where you're at with needing to look at your finances. So what are your priorities for your family right now? What are your priorities of, you know, finances, health, those things? And I would probably plant that seed of health being in there.
So first,
or immunity.
Yeah, what are your priorities? How are you managing budgeting in this really awkward time right now? So those are some good questions. If we were to follow down the Denise question, where would you go next? So Denise, let's play that out. Anybody want to role play with her, or do you want me to do it? Does it matter? Anybody? Okay, I'll do it. So Denise, go ahead. And so you asked me that question. I'll say, you know, both my husband and I aren't working, and it looks like we could be okay for a little bit. But, you know, I don't know what to do next. I'm not sure. I just know that we don't have any income coming in right now.
I can really understand what a scary position that's feeling like right now, Nikki. So what are you feeling like your priorities are for your family right now? Are are you looking at, you know, spending on groceries, taking care of your health and immunity? What's important to you?
Yeah. So, so what I'm looking at is I think we're okay about rent for the next couple months, but I don't really know. But I know that we could probably call our landlord and either offer them half or not pay anything for a month. I am concerned on the other end. What'll I have if I have big bills if I don't pay them now? So, you know, we could go without that if we had to. And, you know, power and electric, I don't think will be shut off, but I do have a lot of credit card debt that I'm afraid about. And of course, groceries, like you said. So I'm not sure.
So what do you think, have you thought about what any solutions might be to help you with that? You know, an option or another plan B for how you might be able to bring in some income.
I haven't thought about that, and that's a great place to go, Denise. I think one more question I might ask, and maybe you've done this, Denise, or somebody else. I think I would probably say, have you thought about writing down everything that you have to spend money on and adding it up and seeing where you actually are? If you say that to people who are nervous and worried, I'm going to tell you that most of the times they have not. So sometimes if they put everything down and saw what they had in their bank account, they'd really know what they had, just to like help them out. This is a value moment that it could be valuable for them, right? So really offering up some value to help somebody. So say you say that to me, Denise, and then I say, no, I really haven't. And you could say, well, that could be something that might really help you and your husband feel more secure. Now she can say, oh, wow, Denise, I don't know why I didn't think about that. I've been so paralyzed. I didn't even think about actually looking at what I do and don't have. Okay, so then you could go to your question about, have you thought about something that could set you up, that could help you right now and going forward? I love it's not just right now, because it's not going to make a big, but in moving forward. Kind of like a plan B, and then they go, no, I've never thought of that, and then you get to share your story.
Perfect. Do you want me to share my story?
Not quite yet. We've done really good with these objections. Do you guys want to hear a story, or do you want to continue with some objections and Patty?
Nikki, I just going back to Kate and a customer that can't afford it, which we're hearing those stories now. But one thing I think I would encourage you is say, you know, I've never thought if this might be an option for you or if it might be a good fit, but you believe in Juice Plus, you love it. What would it look like if you could come up with 3 people that you know could do Juice Plus right now? It actually could be helping you pay for your own product. So helping her to create something before she actually commits to signing on.
Yeah, absolutely. And if somebody eventually says, I just don't think I can do it, Kate, I'm hearing you, I'm so paralyzed, I don't even going to make that stupid list. I can't, it makes me too frightened to even write down what's coming in or going out. I'm so freaked out. And then you can say, you know, boy, I get that. I've had days like that where I just sat with it. And I would ask the question, so if not Juice Plus, do you feel like you have something that could help you with immune support? What will you do? And what could it look like if you had no immune support right now? How does that feel to you? Is the anxiety around that the same or different than? I mean, really plunge into it if it's a good friend, right? Because for me, I would be completely anxious. I would be so anxious right now if I didn't have immune support in me. Seriously. And Patty, if we look at your friend Lana, who had Juice Plus and her partner was not taking it all this time. Wow. Like, I want my partner on Juice Plus with me. You know, breaks my heart for her. And I don't know whether Juice Plus would have made a difference for him. I don't know that. But talk about the anxiety around that. How do they feel about not having? And I would probably start with a question, do you feel that Juice Plus, besides the thing you're noticing, do you feel that do you understand or do you know what Juice Plus has been doing around immune support for you? No, I don't know that. I just feel better. Can I share with you the 5 studies that show how it helps, how it actually gives you support for your immune system? That's a place we have to go because that's something that everybody's understanding right now. I know we didn't do our stories and we could do them again next week, but I think these objections are really important. How do you feel about it? Yeah, any other questions?
I think it's great that this call is flexible enough that we can really address the conversations we're having in real time. So I appreciate you deviating from whatever script you have and yeah, just morphing to what our needs are. I so appreciate this call.
And I don't have another call for a little bit. If those of you need to get off, go ahead and get off. If you want to stay on and ask more questions, we can keep going. Totally up to all of you. So if you need to go, I'll see you leave. If enough of you stay, we can stay and answer more questions specifically so you can hear conversations, please.
I just have a quick question. Patty, you said, can you think of 3 people that that would benefit from this to help offset your cost? Is that generally the number of people that you have in mind that helps cover the cost of somebody else's product? Oh, she's not on here anymore.
Oh, who got off, Patty?
Patty, yeah.
Okay.
Is 3 people, so I'll just throw that out there. Is 3 people generally the amount of people on like a trio or a quad that you would consider would cover the cost of one person's product?
It would not. Let's take a really quick look at that. So clearly, if somebody was on the trio, they would be paying $75 a month. What you make up front on that trio is $30 every 4 months. And if you are a sales coordinator, you're making another 10% of 30 is 10% of 300 is 30, 45. You're making another $45 total. So total, you're making $75 over a 4-month period total with retail and your commission. You're making what I think $75 total. I think I'm right. So if you divided that by 4, you would know what you're making monthly to cover your monthly cost of $75.
$18.75. Okay.
Well,
So is that what we make it? Yeah.
$18.75.
I think that maybe asking if they have 3 people, that gets you to that first promotion. Excuse me, that gets you to that, you know, the healthy living plan. So they get the $100 bonus. So that's a good jump start. And so maybe that's why, you know, saying, do you know 3 people and get those lined up is to get them off on a start.
But what you could do is say, if we can get you started with 3 customers a month, and then next month another 3 customers, then we're getting you really close to covering your costs. So, and by the way, we do have a program that gives you bonuses of an extra $50 or an extra $300. If we could show you how to do that in the next 60 days, you definitely cover the cost of your product over the next 4 months and beyond. Because with the $300 and the $50, that $350, that covers an entire trio plus a little more. Right? If you get to your QSC position, your bonus is $300. You've also made $50 for your Partner Plus. You've now made $350 just in bonuses. That covers your cost of your trio for the first 4 months. So, and that doesn't even include, no, that doesn't even include what you earn on your retail sales. So that would be helpful for somebody, right? So if I could show you how to cover your costs for your first 4 months, and then we could talk about that after that. Maybe in the next 4 months, your finances are going to change. So we do have a way to address the next 4 months, Denise. I'm glad we had that conversation. We have a way to address the next 4 months to have yours be completely free.
Yeah, that's kind of something I've been thinking about and, you know, trying to put it all together. So that's very helpful.
Okay, good. I think we're good to go, right, everybody? Anybody have a last minute question they absolutely have to have? All right. I will get it. Yes, Bonnie.
It's a quick comment. When you were talking, I said that everyone is pretty well stressed now with the situation going on, but having not just the faith, but the experience and the courage to like lead in a way that gives people the confidence that they need is good. I mean, that's just good humanity.
Well, that's what we do. We practice good humanity. We practice being good humans. So all of you, Wednesday, 10:30 or 10 o'clock, you get friends on that. It's going to be a super fun call. And Holly?
No, Leslie.
I'm sorry, Leslie.
I was going to say one thing, because I think was Mariah put this out about some things that she learned about the PAS, you know, learn their pain, kind of agitate that pain, let them talk before you ever offer a solution. And I think that's really important right now with all that's going on. Is just reaching out and calling and just talking and letting them talk is, you know, letting them be heard. I think it's so important.
And Leslie, all you have to do is, hey, Leslie, I thought about you the other day because I know you've been having some serious back issues. Can you tell me more what's going on? I don't have to do anything else. Tell me more. I heard you had back problems. She says yes, and I jump right into, I think I might have found something. No. Tell me more. Let you do the talking. Let you tell me what you're looking for. That's when we offer the solution, after they've told us that they need something. We cannot give a solution to a problem not stated.
Yeah, and I love that when I learned it, because I thought that's so true. Everybody wants to be heard. And how often do people just jump to that solution?
And it's all in the Freedom Revolution, Getting Started. If you look at the videos of invitation and telling stories, it's all there. Everything we just talked about, it's all there. So you can refresh it yourself or watch this again. All right, everybody.
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks, everyone, for participating.
Love you all.